I know you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Kevin Flynn, the Chief Financial Officer at Ecora Resources. Kevin, very nice to speak with you this morning. You've announced your second quarter trading update for 2024. Can you talk us through some of the highlights?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, Stephen, and thanks again for having us. I think the highlights for the first year very much revolved around Kestrel, the volumes that we received, and also pricing, which certainly beat the market expectations. And we came in towards the top end of our guidance. So very pleased with a very strong first half to the year. Looking forward to the second half. And of course, we also announced the acquisition of a rare earths royalty as well, just after the half year. So a very good start to the year.
BHP recently announced the temporary suspension to the construction at West Musgrave. Was this a bit of a surprise, Kevin?
I'm not so sure it was a bit of a surprise. I mean, I think BHP had been, commenting on this in the first half of the year. What was probably more of a surprise was that they're ceasing production. But I think ultimately we still are firm believers in this project. This is going to be a long life operation, which is anywhere between 40 to 45% copper as well as nickel. So the standalone merits of this project are very, very healthy at current commodity prices. And I think it's not one to be judged or determined based on short-term market disruption based on one commodity in particular. So still very optimistic about the prospects for this going forward.
How are you seeing the rest of the year play out, Kevin? What are some of the key growth drivers we should watch out for?
Yeah, I think, look, we're guiding for very few volumes to come from Kestrel in the second half of the year. But the two things to highlight in particular, number one will be the ramp up of Voisey's Bay deliveries in the second half of the year, as their material handling units start to produce output closer towards their nameplate capacity, which we expect will be achieved in 2026. We're guiding 12 to 16 deliveries in the current year. We had 4 in the first half, so that kind of gives you a flavor for how we expect the ramp up to come through. And it's not to be forgotten that at kind of full ramp up, we expect this operation to deliver 40 units. The second of which is obviously the Capstone feasibility study, which we're hoping to see imminently. This is a key growth asset, both for Capstone and obviously for us as well. And with the feasibility study coming out shortly, this will give a much greater line of sight in terms of the timing of this project and therefore first cash flow for Ecora. So those are the two key events to watch out for organically within our portfolio in the second half.
Can you talk about the opportunities you're seeing and how you're thinking about the balance between growth and balance sheet strength?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the current market conditions are very challenging. Unfortunately, Ecora is suffering as well as the wider market, which we had always anticipated to provide plenty of opportunities for us in this year and next. And we're seeing that. We're very busy originating and evaluating projects and opportunities to continue to add growth. But we're not just going to add growth in a way that over compromises the balance sheet. Balance sheet strength is a key pillar of our capital allocation priorities. And absent acquisitions, we expect to see some very meaningful deleveraging come through in the next 12 to 18 months. So we're always looking to grow. We're always looking to do so in a way which doesn't compromise balance sheet strength, and that will continue to be the focus.
Well, Kevin, I hope you'll keep us posted on any progress. Thank you very much for the update today.
Thank you for having us, Stephen.
Very welcome. Kevin Flynn, Chief Financial Officer at Ecora Resources.